Alright, so this video shows you how to graph lines in slope-intercept form. Let's remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. The b is our y-intercept, and it's where we're going to begin graphing. It's our b, it's where we're going to begin. And our m is our slope. After we find our beginning point, we're going to rise and run, which is slope, from that point. So let's do a little practice. So our first graph is y equals 1/4 x minus 1. Now this again is our b, it's our beginning point. Our beginning point is always, it's the y-intercept, it's on our y-axis. So we're going to begin at -1, which means we're going to begin down here at -1. Now our slope is 1/4, which means we rise 1 and we run 4. Again, we're rising 1 and running 4 from this beginning point of -1. So from this point we rise 1 and we run 1, 2, 3, 4. We can't rise 1 and run 4 this way anymore, but we could, instead of going up and to the right, we could go down 1 and to the left 4 and get a little fancy. So then what you do is you need at least 2 points to make a line. We have 3. We can go ahead and take our straight edge, graph our line through those points, putting arrows at the end because this is a line. In example number 2, we have y equals the opposite of x plus 2. Again, 2 is our beginning point. It's where we begin our graph. It's on the y-axis. So we go up 2 because it's positive 2. Now again, our slope is the opposite of x. That means there's an invisible sneaky -1 there. And anytime we have a whole number, like -1 or 3 or 5, that number has a denominator of 1. So we have -1 over 1 as our slope. So we're going to rise -1, which means we actually go down 1, and we run 1 to the right. So from this point right here, remember it's from the point we begin, we go a rise of -1, which means we go down 1 and to the right 1. Rise of -1 means we go down 1 and to the right 1. We have enough points to make a line. Taking your straight edge, you graph your line right through those points. And again, you put an arrow on either end. In example 3, we have y equals x plus 1. Again, we begin at the b, or the y-intercept, and since that's a positive 1, we go up 1 on the y-intercept, y-axis, and we plot our first point there. Now remember, there's a sneaky 1 in front of here, and anytime we have a whole number, our denominator is 1. So we have a slope of a rise of 1 and a run of 1. Again, that's positive 1 over 1, which means we go up 1 and to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1. And if you want to get fancy, you could go down 1 and to the left 1, down 1 to the left 1. And again, you need 2 or more points to make a line. We have enough. And we're going to take our straight edge and draw a line through those points. Again, remember you need arrows on either end. These are lines. Alright, our next equation of our line is y equals 4/3 x minus 4. Our beginning point is -4. So we're going to begin on our y-axis at -4. That means we go down 4 and plot our point. Again, our slope is 4/3, which means we rise 4 and we run 3, which means we go up 4 and to the right 3. So we're going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 3, 1, 2, 3. And again, you could go one more time if you'd like. 1, 2, 3, 4, a rise of 4, and a run of 1, 2, 3. And again, you need 2 or more points to make a line. Go ahead and take your straight edge and draw a line through those points with arrows on both ends. In example 5, we have y equals -3x minus 3. Again, this is where we begin. We begin on the y-axis, which means we begin at -3, which is down 3. Our slope is -3, which, if we have a whole number, the denominator is 1. So our slope is -3 over 1, which means we rise -3 and we run 1. Now a rise of -3 means we're actually going down 3 into the right 1. 1, 2, 3, into the right 1. And if you want to get fancy, instead of going down 3 into the right 1, you could go up 3 and to the left one. And again, now you have enough points to make a line. Alright, our next graph is a little bit sneaky. Our next graph is y equals 4. Now in an upcoming lesson, we're going to talk about horizontal and vertical lines. Just a side note for today, any y equals line is going to be a horizontal line, which means it's going to go side to side. Any x equals line is going to be a vertical line, which means it's going to go up and down. Now, keeping in mind that I have a y equals 4, that means I want a horizontal line that goes through 4, which means my line is going to look just like this where my pencil's at. Now, if it were switched and it was x equals 4, I would need a vertical line. And I would have placed my pencil vertically and figure out where x equals 4. Well, this is the negative side of my graph, and this is the positive side of my graph. So if I had x equals 4, my graph would look like this, like my pencil, a vertical line. But again, I have y equals. That's going to be a horizontal line. Looking like this. Keep in mind, it looks horizontal. On the back, you have an example of a vertical line. So again, I want a horizontal line. Putting my pencil horizontally, I got to figure out where would I graph my line so that y equals 4. Well, this is the negative section of my graph, and this is the positive section of my graph. So if I want y equals 4, it looks like I need my line right here. So I'm going to put my dot at 4, draw a couple points, and I know that I want my graph to be y equals 4, which is a horizontal line that goes through the point 4 on the y-axis.